Now then, from a nondescript small species to our flashiest bird, the kingfisher. Now, we've been seeing a lot of this individual on our seawall camera. We know she's a female. You can see the orange at the base of the bill there. And many of our kingfish actually move down to the coast for the winter, especially when you get a very hard winter. Why? Well, because the canals, the ponds, the lakes will all be frozen solid. They can't fish there, so they've got to move, and they come down to the coast for that. And earlier this week, we also saw this. The same kingfisher, we think, bringing up a pellet. Look at that. Look, isn't that perfect? Perfect silvery pellet. Now, I had to restrain this man, I can tell you. But this morning, on that very same camera, we saw something we'd never seen before. The kingfisher had left, and about an hour afterwards, this popped up. Look at that. Homo sapien, I believe. Bipedal, probably.
Just about.
Bipedal. Yes, you've got it. It's Chris looking for those pellets. The big question is, Chris, did you find them?
Mate.
You did find them.
Look.
Well done.
Look at this. Look.
Top work, sir.
So what we've got here is a pellet which is almost, well, it looks so perfectly formed. So this one's pretty whole.
Yeah.
This one was a little bit older and it started to break up. So that gives you the size, shows you how big the mouth is, doesn't it? That's come out there. So very big mouth because they swallow their fish prey whole. But look, these are the remains of that fish prey. And this one, I don't feel so bad about breaking up because it's already falling apart. And look at that there, look, that looks like a fish scale or a fin. And there are lots of other small fish bones in here. And I can tell you that all of these things, I know it seems impossible, but they are identifiable without going to DNA, the physical structure of these. And I'm not the only person that's mad about opening kingfisher. That looks like a bit of prawn, that one there. Look at that. It's bizarre. Riverwood Ecology and the Scottish Wildlife Trust have equally been delving into kingfisher pellets. And look, here are some of the microscopic remains that they found. Fins. These are all stickleback remains. Fins, the dorsal spines on those sticklebacks, of course, the phalangeal teeth of the fish. So, if you get down to it, with practice and with a good collection of reference material, you could go through here with a few hours spare, you know, and you could find out exactly what that kingfisher has been eaten. What about that?
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's like me as a kid dissecting my barnel pellets.
Yeah.
That is absolutely brilliant. Now, there have been lots of studies looking at the diets of kingfishers in the UK in the breeding season, and the results show that 3 species of fish are vitally important for them. Now, first of all, the pink colour here, that's the 3-spined stickleback. The blue colour is the European bullhead, or the miller's thumb as it's known. But by far the most important fish is the common minnow. This yellow, over half of the prey items were common minnow. Now, there has been no work, as far as we know, done on wintering kingfishers, on their diet, those that come down to the coast, but there has been a study carried out in Spain. It's the same species and they do the same thing. When you get a hard winter, they come down to the coast, so we can draw parallels. And the prey items here, well, 2 stand out. First of all, the goby, small fish there, and the second one is prawn. Look at that. Big proportion of their diet is made up of prawns. And I've only ever seen one fishing on the coast and I'd be able to identify what it brought up once. That was by Aberystwyth Pier, and that actually brought up a prawn.
And it's interesting, isn't it? Quite a number of birds we've been looking at this week are changing their diet in winter. The blackcaps that we had earlier, insectivorous, of course, in the spring and summer, switched to berry eating or going to bird feeders in the winter. The bearded tits that we've seen, again, insectivorous in the summer, going to eat reed seeds in the winter. And now kingfishers, freshwater in the winter, going to saltwater. But of course, they're not the only birds, and owls and birds of prey, that produce pellets. Lots of other species do too. Anything indigestible that they can separate to stop it going through their gut is much easier out than in. Look at this. Here's a robin, photographed by Robin Morrison, and it's egesting a pellet. And on the right-hand side, you can see that tiny little bolus of indigestible material there, made up the hard parts, presumably, of the invertebrates that this bird has been eating.
Fantastic.